Welcome, show number 50. Jimmy and Cousin Donnie show sponsored by many of you know tonight our guest Hopkins and our team. So
you're cutting in and out just a little bit.
All right. Well, let me. Does that sound better?
Hot start. Hot start. There we go. Now we're cooking.
Is that a lot?
You're cutting in and out just a little bit as we get this show started. Why don't you hop out really quick and then hop back in? We'll still be live. I'll take control of the intro today, my friend. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Cousin Donnie, Uncle Jimmy, Cousin Donnie show. We've currently eliminated the worst part of the show, which is Jimmy and his bad connection. So it's just me tonight. We're going to do Liam Hopkins will be joining us, and then John Zawoski. And then I'm going to do an hour straight of smooth jazz. So if you guys are into stuff like that, why don't we hang out for a while with us here, and then I think we're going to have a whole lot of fun tonight. Jimmy, hello.
Cousin Donnie, how do I sound now, my man?
That sounds way better.
Way better. So as I was saying, this is show number 57. Obviously, the Uncle Jimmy, Cousin Donnie show sponsored by the Beacon Tap. Our guest tonight is Mr. Liam Hopkins himself from Mr. Papa Hops. And then our boy Zoe is going to jump on later in the show. And we're going to go over some lines for the Papa Hops tournament, some odds and some things that they normally do on the South Side, which is, I know, fond to our heart. We like making predictions. I think Zoe and I are going to do a little something different tonight. We're going to do a bracket challenge for Zoe and I.
Oh.
And it's almost going to be a very fun, entertaining piece on the Zoe end. But I'm looking forward to Liam joining us tonight and, you know, talking about the history of the tournament, how the tournament has grown to what it is. I don't know if you're excited, but I'm definitely pumped to hear a little bit about what's going on.
For sure, my man. I'm excited. I've never got the chance to meet Liam. A huge fan of the Tom Hopkins Foundation and the Papa Hops tournament. So it'll be a pleasure to have him on the show tonight and talk about how awesome this tournament is and really just, you know, let people get to know him a little bit more, kind of on my side of things. I'm on the north side, so I don't get a chance to talk to those guys a little bit, but that's going to be awesome, man. I'm excited for tonight. And then one of my best friends on the softball scene, Mr. John Zawoski, is joining us after. So, Jimmy, what do you got for tonight? You excited?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. You know, I think it's going to be a fun, interesting show, something a little bit different. You know, there's always different to our show. But I do want to make an announcement. We saw that the Forest Park draw came out today. But I also want to say we have a new member of the Moretti household. His name is Henry the hamster. So
okay. I don't know which news is
Moretti house.
I don't know which news is bigger, Jim, the hamster or Forest Park. I mean, those kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, I mean, the only problem is the hamster does not pay rent. So it's another,
Correct.
you know, rent-free individual in the household.
Which one of your sons wanted to get a hamster?
My oldest, Jimmy.
Okay.
So it was for his birthday. He just turned 9, so happy birthday to little Jimmy. He just turned 9 on July 6th. So, you know, that was his birthday gift.
Well, that's a heck of a gift, and a gift that will keep on giving, as he will stop paying attention to that probably in about a month from now, and then it'll be on you and Auntie Jenny to take care of. So that'll be a wonderful conversation at the house.
I totally believe that. So I have no idea what's going on with my background tonight.
I see that you're are you a spa?
Yeah,
Looks
this
like,
is some background. I think I'm going to go ahead and change it really quick if you don't
it
mind.
looks like you're at a spa and that you have no pants on because you just have a polo and a towel on. There you go.
So back to the normal background.
Ram said he thought you were going to say that Artie was moving in because you have a new member of the Moretti household.
Yeah, no, Artie is not moving in, so, but that's okay. Artie mooches enough off us, as you know. So, many people call Artie my fourth son.
That's a tough one. That's a tough look for Artie, I'll tell you.
But since we had so much fun Sunday with naming the dog, I heard that you had 3 more names today for the cousin Donnie dog. So
I do.
Why don't we share those right now before we head over to Liam?
Okay. I was just on a walk today with our dog who is not yet named, and I was thinking of names. The first one I've got for you is George Bliss. Because I used it already. I thought that was funny. Never mind. Okay, ready? The second name I've got, Barky Robinson.
Okay.
Is that clever?
That is pretty clever.
Thank you. These are not as good as my first round, I suppose.
That's okay.
The third one was Mudville.
Oh.
How about that?
Mudville. I think there's a team out there that an individual always talks about, no?
And I have a fourth and final name for you.
Yeah.
Staples.
I thought you were going to say Anthony Tyler.
No, I think George Bliss is going to be a reoccurring name on my dog segment.
Okay. Well, hey, George Bliss will be excited to be mentioned. Yeah. So,
Barky Robinson,
Mr. Media himself.
Man, I thought that was so good. I thought you were going to get. I was going to get a huge laugh out of that, but I didn't. So that's unfortunate.
So, are you excited though for Liam on hearing about the Papa House tradition and what the tournament's all about?
Bring him on in.
Are you? Well, before we do that, before I click the button and bring him on, are you basically gonna? Do you know anything about Liam?
So, I mean, other than the tournament, not a ton to be honest. I've got just maybe a question or two for him. Not a ton for him tonight, but I just want to talk to him and introduce, and not really a whole lot, man.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go get Liam right now. See, there he is. What's up, Liam? How are you, my man? Welcome.
What's up, guys? How we
Uncle
doing?
Jimmy and Cousin Donnie show. Good, man. How are you?
Good.
We are extremely excited to have you on tonight, just because of not only the history of what the tournament brings, but I want to, people want to know who you are and kind of get to meet you in the softball community. I think that's also a big piece to what we do as a family in the softball community, is getting to know, each other on a personal level. So I hope you're excited to join us. I know we have roughly our numbers ticking up, but we roughly have over 50 people watching right now live. So that number is going to continue to increase. But I'm going to hand it over to you, Liam. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? I know we have an arsenal of questions we're going to throw at you, but tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into the tournament.
Yeah. Well, first off, just want to say thanks, Uncle Jimmy, Cousin Donnie, for having me on. You guys got a great show. Is my connection on my end? Is it good? I'm getting a little lag.
You look like you're a little delayed, but you're fine.
Okay. No, just want to say thank you guys again for having me on. You guys do great things for the 16-inch softball community in Chicago, and just spreading. We're fortunate to have a little part in it by having and being able to host the Papa Hops 16-inch softball tournament every July, second week of July. It's usually the Friday after the 4th of July here at Kennedy Park on the south side of Chicago. So this all started 10 years ago in honor of our father, Tom Hopkins. He suddenly passed away from cancer in March of 2014. My siblings and I have 2 older brothers, a younger sister. We came together with our mom, and we wanted to kind of come up with something to honor our dad and his legacy. He was a really well-known guy in the community. He was a big supporter of sports, athletics. He loves softball. He wasn't a big softball player though, but he was a big advocate of the sport, and he actually helped found and form a Sunday summer league that was like a beer league with the local bars that helped keep college kids, in the park and in the neighborhood. So we found a way to, literally what's better than 16-inch softball, being from Chicago, south side, north side, west, east, wherever. 16-inch softball lives and dies, through Chicago. And we host this tournament, and it just took off from day one. The first year we had 18 teams, and they were all local, park and rec league teams. And the one thing we wanted to do was to be a little different and do it on a Friday night, opposed to running like a Saturday tournament. And we wanted to rent lights up at Kennedy Park. At the time, they did not have lights in the park. So we rented lights, and we had a nice 18-team single elimination tournament. It was a lot of fun. It was competitive. And then just from there, the interest and the support kind of just kept growing. But what really carried is obviously the message behind it all with the foundation and what we're trying to do. Our mission solely is to support.
I think we're losing him there. Donnie, can you hear him?
He's cutting out a little bit. Yeah, he's starting to cut out. I think his video froze up a little bit. Let me see.
Hey, Liam, if you can hear us, just hop back off and come back on really quick.
Yeah, leave the stream quick and then just jump on back.
Hopefully he gets to figure that out.
Yeah, we're having some quick technical difficulties with Liam. He'll be right back on though. But how cool is it that he's talking about just kind of the origin of the tournament and how it started? But the idea of having it on a Friday is so cool. And I don't know if you've all been out there, but the crowd that this tournament draws is something that we'll get into as the show goes on. But it is massive, and it is really cool. Hopefully he is able to jump on back in here, as he's going to be great for tonight, and people are excited to see him. So.
Yeah, no, he was kind of diving into about his father and how the first year it started with 18 teams, for those that, didn't hear him. And then he mentioned about them running lights and a lot of things that were going, changing it. It's funny how something different just took off in 16 in softball.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny how it works when you kind of do something different?
Yeah. What are you getting at here, Jim?
I'm just saying. I mean, it's
You're just speculating.
Just speculating. That something different. Hopefully, he's saying he's trying to jump back in now, so hopefully he'll be able to join us.
There we go. Let him back in, Jim. Looks like he's. Oh no, there's.
Yep.
I had a jump scare. I just got a jump scare. Oh my god. Oh no. No, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. So I actually. We can give it a couple more minutes. Hopefully, there he is there. So hopefully he's back on. There he is.
I had to get a better connection.
No worries. That's perfect. We can hear you clear now. Clear as day.
Cool.
So I'm just going to hand it right back over to you. You left off with the Friday night, the 18 teams, and kind of getting into the whole swing of things. So if you want to just pick up where you left off.
Yeah. So, like I said, it was my siblings, my 3 siblings, and a group of friends that were, close friends of ours. And we just wanted to continue to honor my dad's name. And like I said, he was just a great guy. People loved and respected him. And he just did a lot for the neighborhood, for the community. He was very involved, active. And obviously the softball portion is incredible, but that's really kind of what carries weight with the tournament, I would say, is just who my dad was. He was just an all-around great guy. He was, he was big about the underdog and leaving no one behind, and just very supportive. And that's kind of why I would say that it really sticks, especially the name itself. A friend of ours back in high school messed around and would call him Papa Hops instead of Mr. Hopkins because he just had that feel. So that's where that name came in.
So that's where the name came from.
Yeah, and that's kind of how it connected and kind of just stuck with it. And we started the Tom Hopkins Foundation in the summer of 2014. And then our single event was the Papa Hops 16-inch softball tournament.
Yeah.
And we went from 18 teams the first year, then to 28 teams, and we did it at 2 different parks. And then from there, we were like, maybe we could add more, and we went to 32 teams, and then we added another park, and we were playing at Kennedy, Mount Greenwood, and Beverly. And the whole thing is to be able to run it and within, like a 6-hour, 7-hour time frame, you got to be able to accommodate with, umpires and obviously the having the capability to use those fields. So we're lucky that those 3 parks are within, like a mile of each other off 111th and then 103rd Street and right there on Western with Kennedy Park. So it made sense. And then just trying to organize it and a lot goes into it, but you would honestly be surprised. I know the biggest part on our end going into it is planning, but setting it up and getting our volunteers and all our sponsors. And that's really where we make money for the foundation is sponsorships, because we don't charge people. Anyone can come into the event. It's, family friendly. We got kids games and we got a lot of food and merchandise that we sell. And that's really how we make our money. We don't have admission, or anything like that. It's just a team fee for the teams. And then other than that, it's just come on in and bring your family and come have a fun time.
Sure. Yeah. So go ahead, Donnie.
No, the first thing I wanted to say is, Liam, it's a pleasure to meet you. And thank you for hopping on the show, taking time, probably the busiest week of your entire year. But thank you for being a part of this. And, I never got the chance to meet you, so it's a pleasure. We see all the glam and we see the lights and we see the crowds and all the people that are excited. What's the most challenging part about this week for you or Friday night in specific for you? I mean, it's not all easy probably.
No. And honestly, that's where I would revert back to. We have an awesome team of, board members and committee members that literally work, day in with us in terms of our sponsorships all the way down to logistically of, the fields and all the restrooms. I mean, we get over 65 like porta potties that come in, and we have, a bunch of tents that go up, and we fence off like the playing area just for the safety of the players. Yeah. And I know it kind of being a competitive player, the guys that are playing in the tournament, I give them credit, but it's tough because, they're trying to go after every ball or any, play and make that play. And you're kind of limited in certain areas because of the amount of people, the crowd, but that's kind of what makes the tournament, like it makes it that feel, that home, that, Chicago 16-inch softball. And to be honest, to you guys, the credit, I mean, it goes back to getting the idea from No Glove Nationals. I mean, that's the staple, of Chicago 16-inch softball, and that tournament every last weekend in July up in Forest Park it's awesome. And I remember going out there as a younger kid and just seeing the teams play and just thinking how cool it is. So when my dad passed, I would say that, helped with like kind of being like, man, doing something like that, not to the point of how competitive it's grown into, just to the point of like Friday night and, Friday night lights and bringing people together in a park and music, but softball. And that's kind of full circle of how it just came into fruition. I mean, it's obviously the planning, but we have, we got an umpire crew that kind of moderates our umpires. We have a whole team of field monitors to be able to make it work. The field monitors are the key point because we have these designated people that are volunteers, but they're in charge, the run sheets. They got the balls for the next game to keep the time going, to talk to the ump and kind of, reiterate, update scores. So we really have the communication kind of just all on, because you're dealing with 3 different parks and trying to talk to each other like, hey, what's the score? And then by 7:00, everyone's at Kennedy Park, and that's really where it all kicks in.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, where I give you a lot of credit, I know the organization and what it takes, to your point, with 3 different parks, but where I give you a lot of credit is that you were willing to do something different. You brought a new, fun, energized tournament to 16-inch softball that it desperately needed. And I've been, fortunate enough to play in the tournament now in the last couple of years. I'll be playing again this year, which I'm going to have talked to you about with these draws at Beverly Park. You're killing me, but
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but that's a whole nother thing. We'll talk offline about that, Liam. That's okay. But I just give you a lot of credit because you were willing to do something different, and different worked in this situation. And now it is the most, one day drawn event for attendance in a 16-inch softball tournament. So
Ever.
I give you tons of props for that. I mean, as you mentioned, got the idea from Forest Park being the elite of the elite from a major perspective tournament. And kind of you put your own twist on it too with your tournament, having the two major players per team and make it more about the neighborhood. And I think it's really a cool thing. I mean, yeah, some of us major guys might not like that rule, but hey, I mean, that's something that you invented, you made, and I give you a lot of props for it because it's worked. So, thank you for that.
No, and like I said, I thank you guys. I know obviously having, the show and what you guys do, it's not easy. And I know with softball, and you guys have been around, I know with these leagues that in these you got these tournaments and charity events, they're all great. And I know it's something that you don't ever want to lose. I know in Chicago, it's 16
right.
And I know I personally, I still, like, we have a Kennedy weekday league. I barely play as much like when I was younger, meaning I'm not fucking 10 years ago, but it's hard though with the tournament because once it hits, I mean, we're planning, we really get into gear, and like March is when we're like actually wheels down with our sponsorships and everything. But then we really get into the logistics and setting it up of probably like in May, and then it just starts trickling down. And next thing you know,
Sure.
like I felt like it was just, June yesterday, and now we're already here. So I know it flies by, but the big thing is just, is the community and even the softball community, not just the South Side, but people that show support to the tournament. But obviously what we're trying to do with helping families, and we've been grateful. I mean, we're in 9 years now. Well, this is 10, but our 10th tournament, and we're right around, we've raised over $850,000 and helped over 75 families. And we haven't even, had the tournament on Friday night. So we're really, it's incredible that, to have the platform to do that, but
Yeah.
it's also awesome that 16-inch softball is the premise behind it and why we're all, and that's Chicago. And that's why I think it's cool. It brings people together.
Yeah. I mean, I give you, like I said, I give you a ton of props. I think doing something different is awesome. Not only that, but also, I think the way the people are out there, the atmosphere is everyone's having a good time. You have a lot of younger kids watching the game, which is tremendous about the growth of the game. And then you have a lot of the old timers out there watching too. So I think you kind of get the best of both worlds. And that's how we're going to continue to grow this game in Chicago. And I love your attitude behind that. So that kind of leads me to my next question is, what are you most proud of, with this event or just this tournament in general?
Yeah, honestly, I would revert back to who our dad was, and being a humbled guy and never taking credit for himself or that. Like I said, he was just all about including everyone and don't leaving anyone out and no man left behind type of deal. So I would honestly just say, I mean, grateful to our family, and I mean the people that help us put on this event, but it obviously reverts back to the participants, the 32 teams. I mean, we have over 400, I think it's over like 480 participants. I mean, that's what really, really drives, the effort of us trying to raise money. And it stinks because you kind of feel they get robbed of, that one game, 1-and-1 count. And it's just the time, it's with the time constraint being, trying to run it within that 6-hour window. But you feel bad. But the one thing that I really love is seeing those guys, the minute they're done playing, if they lose, they're there in the outfield part, packing up with their buddies friends, and they're ready to go. And people just enjoy, watching. And that's what I know you would speak on that with being around the game for so many years. I would take a step back and say, I mean, we're grateful to be able to, have the tournament, but the community to support us, because we wouldn't be here without, our sponsors and the neighbors and loved ones really, really carried us for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Oh, so I have a comment up on the screen. And it comes from our Hall of Fame president, Paul Rowan.
Paul, he's the best.
Liam always has a great tournament and a pleasure to watch. And then he made another comment. And this one I think you'll really enjoy. Tom Hopkins was the best, worked to help 16 softball to continue. So, obviously we're getting a ton of compliments coming in for you and what you do and your support and your volunteers. We all know you couldn't do it alone. And I definitely see the gratitude that you're giving the people donating their time to help you run the tournament, the foundation. It's really is. It's an awesome event, and I'm excited, as I always am.
Yeah.
The week of Papa Hops for Friday night, so it gives us something to do. It's different, and that's all I have. Donnie, what about you?
Yeah, I've only got one more thing for you, my man, on my end. But we live in a world of social media being super important, and we're younger guys, so we're constantly on social media. That Barstool affiliation, in my opinion, is huge. What was that like, getting those guys involved and now having them have a team, and what has that done for the tournament on your end?
Yeah. No, it's awesome you said that. I was actually just there earlier today and had the opportunity to talk on one of their weekday shows for a few minutes and just plug the tournament. They're a huge support, and those guys got behind us since day one. We've actually, while they were still in New York, a few years back as their headquarters, we came in, a good relationship with White Sox Dave, who obviously he's dealing with the White Sox down in Bridgeport, but he's from, he'll be the first to tell you, he's from Wheaton Warrenville, so he's not a real Chicagoan. I love messing with him in that regard. But Eddie Farr, Barstool Eddie, he's a big, figure. Eddie will be the first to get behind it, and he was one right away that just said anything you need. And a lot of his friends actually up in Edison Park, I'm sure you guys probably know, some of the same people that he has that they're playing in the tournament. A few guys I know will be on a few different teams, so he loves coming out and supporting us. But where it really got going is when we got Barstool Big Cat, when we got Dan Katz involved, and we were able to. He hasn't made a formal appearance to the tournament yet, but behind the scenes, he's the one who's really helping push Barstool in terms of, they're one of our bigger sponsors. So every year they cut us a check to be, one of the top sponsors and support the tournament to help us run it. So we're grateful to them. And I would say just having their support and, like you said, their platform, they're huge. And it's cool though, because you guys would agree, I think having with social media, but having something like Barstool Chicago, and they know it. I've talked to them, and not just me. I know, like, seeing Paul on here. Paul is an incredible advocate for, the game and 16-inch and what he does down at Forest Park. But being a Southsider, Paul really tries to push, 16-inch and in the history of it, and with all the Hall of Famers. What I'm saying is Barstool Chicago needs to tap into this more with softball in the summer, and they need to do, and they know it. It's just trying to get them out there to understand. So you'll laugh, and this is my other one thing I would say, that if we could grow or change the game, or not change it, but to help.
Look at him getting into my question. I love it. Is that a boy?
He watches the show.
But the one thing I would say is onto your page, but it's like, I think we only need 16 in Chicago, only in Chicago. You can't play 12-inch. We'll get that. You guys will say it, get it out of here. What I'm saying is a Barstool team, they moved offices. They brought 50 employees from New York, from the East Coast. They started a team this summer, and they're playing 12-inch. They have no idea. They're playing 12-inch. Obviously, it's probably a co-ed league. I'm just messing around with them. But they got a 12-inch team going. It's like, no, we got to show them 16-inch softball and the roots of, the summertime in Chicago.
Yeah.
You got to get Big Cat on our show next. All right, Liam, you got to put in a good word for us.
Hey, I'm still waiting for him to get back to me if he will show up on Friday. No,
he better not ghost you. That'd be a bad look on him.
No, he's
no, he's awesome. He's awesome.
Yeah.
You mentioned a great point. Like, people from New York, they come in, they play 12-inch, not knowing a thing about 16-inch, and that's the thing about all the players in the game that I always ask. You got to tell people what we do, because no one's going to know about 16-inch softball. Obviously, you brought a lot of, promotion, perception around the game, which is what we need. But to the point of, there's only a select maybe 1,000 people in the world that actually know about 16-inch softball in
Yeah.
Chicago. My neighbor who lives next door never heard of 16-inch softball, grew up in Chicago his whole life, and only knows about it because I talked to him about it. So like that is something that I think all the players should do.
For
They should
sure.
all promote, get families, girlfriends, friends, whatever it is, wives, get them out to the field, and
I
that's
agree.
how word of mouth is what is the power, right?
I agree.
Perception is the second thing that goes with that. So,
No, I hear you there. And I would say to add to that, I mean, just what, especially someone like me, I mean, playing high school sports and being active and involved, but like my dad wasn't playing 16-inch softball, but those summer weeknights or those summer weekends, nothing going on. You go up to the local park, you're seeing these young guys, they're in the park, they're filling the park, and that's what the whole community, and they're just they're playing softball. They're having fun, having a few beers, laughs, and drinks. That's the camaraderie aspect. But what I also like is with this game, how much it's done though for like families like ourselves though, to be able to have the platform to host a softball tournament through 16-inch with kids hitting, this 16-inch ball around and no gloves and the fingers all webbed. But that's the history of it. But to be able to raise all this money and be able to help families, and it's like all through a softball game, it's like, you're damn right. That's Chicago. And I know from the north side to us on the south side, that it spreads far and wide, but we just, these charity tournaments, and it's unfortunate that they have to go. It's a nice way though for people to see that softball is being played and they're raising money and people are supporting each other, and that's what's cool.
Yeah, I actually looked into this year trying to get Forest Park, Papa Hops on TV, trying to find a production company under $15,000 or $20,000. It was almost impossible.
I know.
But I would love somewhere down the road to grow just the game, Papa Hops, whatever it is, Forest Park, and get us back on TV, ESPN. I mean, obviously, bankroll like Barstools, people that support it, things like that can, help us through those tunnels. I mean, you got to start somewhere. I mean, look what you did. You started from 18 teams. Now you got 32, and you have the most popular tournament in softball from an attendance perspective throughout the whole year, which is awesome, right? So, I mean, perception, everything's about it is cool. I mean, could you imagine being on ESPN and someone watching ESPN and seeing 4,000 people, like 40,000 people on TV to watch 16 in softball? You don't think that's going to open some eyes? I think it would. Especially when I turn on and see wiffle ball. It's like, come on.
I was going to say wiffle ball, or I mean, we call it, I know, bags, or some say cornhole, but it's like, that's on TV. Come on, let's throw some of these guys playing some. And you see it. I mean, this isn't none of your. I tell a few of these guys, like friends from college, and they're like, "I'll come down." I'm like, "You got to check it out." Obviously, the family aspect and all the people, it's incredible. But if you really sit there and watch a game, I mean, even from the first round, I mean, all 32 teams are competitive, and I mean, there's some of the best. I mean, outside of obviously no gloves, you're just seeing that all around competitiveness, and you see it come out in people, and sometimes a little too much. We got to go out there and like, guys, take it easy. It's it's a charity, but it's like, how can you say that when there's 3,000 people crowded around to watch? You lose it, and you're kind of zoned in. That's what I.
Cool. Yeah, no, I'm going to leave you with this question. It's been my last question. Since you already answered the last question I always ask everybody, I appreciate that. But where do you want to see this thing grow?
I didn't mean to.
You ruined.
Where do you want to see? Where do you want to see this thing grow?
What
do you want to see? You want to continue to make this thing grow bigger, or are you happy where it's at now?
I mean, grateful to see like where it's at. I know we wanted, to continue it and keep growing it. But I mean, here's one thing I would tell people, and I get it every year, because not to keep going, but like the wait list. So we technically invite people from the year prior before we even go to the wait list. So this year we have all 32 teams that participated last year is returning, which is awesome. So I wish if we could have more teams. I know it's the question people ask. It's just honestly, it's so hard to be able to structure it. I know we could go to a different day. I know you can do playing games, and I've thought about a lot of different options. It would be cool, but you just don't want to take away from, I know, what we've already had. So as much as I'd like to say, keep going, and we want to, we're just taking it year by year, and we enjoy being able to use, or have this game and this tournament to fundraise and really make our mission of helping families that are affected by cancer and supporting local youth athletics. And we couldn't be more grateful, though, to look back 10 years and we're going to hit it. We're going to raise $1 million in 10 years, which is awesome.
Man.
That's incredible.
Well, Liam, at this point, dude, I want to say thank you so much, but I'm going to hand it over to you. Do you have any questions for my good looks or for Donnie's hair or anything that you want to ask us? I know it's on your mind.
Just don't make fun of John Zawoski that much, but you can make fun of him as much as you need to. John, I'll say John is great, and I love John. I know the softball community loves nagging on John. He's a competitive guy. He does. His family, and they've always supported Papa Hops, and his bar is a sponsor, and they got a good team this year. But I go to John. I'm like, John, what do you think about? And he's like, hey, I don't know about this guy. And I'm like, wait, are you the one that gets to? And I'm joking, but I was like, John's the end all be all. He's not. We have a whole committee that looks at, and I have resources in the softball community, but he helps us out in a way, and we're very supportive of John. And I know he's probably
he's got a big head. We all know that. So
the biggest head of the Zawoski family, and I'm a Hopkins. We have big heads too, as you can tell. So I can't say much.
Heads. I got a big head myself, so don't worry about it. But he definitely. Well, and you know what? It's good to have him on your side too, because he's familiar with the major players. Familiar with the game, and he does have a bar on the south side. He gets to know a lot of those Park League guys too, so he's kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah, no, we're lucky to have, and like I said, it's an army of people that have from the neighborhood and far in between that have supported us, and we're super happy to be able to keep this tournament going, and we're gonna hopefully try for another 10 years, but let's get through Friday and then we'll start planning after. But I'm grateful to you too. Thank you guys for real for having me on and being able to talk about the tournament and Papa Hops. And I look forward to formally meeting you guys and seeing you out there hopefully on Friday night. And I know Uncle Jimmy's going to be out there hitting some balls. So we'll see you out there.
Yeah. You know what, man, I'm actually, I don't get like upset when sometimes you get upset when you get older. But then as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, man, I only got a couple more years till I get to that 45 number, and now I don't count as a major player anymore. So we're getting there, you know what I mean?
Well, Liam, I was going to say, man, it won't be too much longer before Jimmy hits 45. I think he's coming up on a couple more months. So
easy, Liam, my man. We still got 3 years, all right, buddy? Easy.
Liam, thanks very much, man. We appreciate you coming on, and it was a pleasure chatting with you about your tournament. And you've got so many nice folks in the comments saying some really great things about your family and your tournament. We'll ask John Zawoski about when he asked for his money back for the tournament. We'll let him talk about that. We won't hold you any longer. How's that sound?
Yes.
Appreciate you guys. No, thank you.
We're going to do a bracket challenge with Zoe. So we're going to see how this goes. But the last thing, you ain't going to mind, Donnie and I might be walking around the park live feeding things.
More than happy. Would appreciate it. Even if I run into you guys, would love to hop on if I can for a second and say what's up. No, you guys are more than welcome. And anything you need, reach out to me, Jimmy, and we'll get it going.
For sure, Liam. I definitely appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good week.
Thank you. You too. How cool is that, huh?
There you go. You got permission from the top dog to be streaming at the tournament. No one's going to tell you anything but him. That was awesome, man. I didn't know. I mean, I've played in the tournament, but to hear the background of 18 teams and how it started, the new idea of how he came up with it, like from Forest Park to create that atmosphere. I mean, it's I hate to say it, but it literally is everything we talk about on this show about major softball. And I give him a tremendous amount of props for trying something different, and boom, it worked, right? Yep, absolutely.
It's an awesome thing, and we're going to be out there supporting Friday night. So those viewers that just joined, thank you, obviously, for tuning in to the Uncle Jimmy and Cousin Donnie show, sponsored by the Beacon Tap. this Friday night is the Papa Hops tournament live from Kennedy Park. I believe the tournament starts at 4 p.m. this year. I know that keeps getting lower and lower. It used to be 5 and now it's 4. The championship game, I believe, is scheduled for 9 o'clock in Kennedy Park. So it should be a fun, entertaining night for sure. So now that we're still on the Papa Hop topic,
why don't we, yeah, let's kick over to the John Zawoski cam really quick, Jim, before so people can see what Zoe is doing.
Okay, let's get in there. You want to embarrass him before he even comes on the show, huh?
Yes, I do. Yes,
okay.
I do.
I see a big belly. So now
there's the John. That's the John Zawoski cam right there.
Welcome.
No,
John
that's what I figured. He
Zawoski.
didn't answer me, and I was like, I bet they're just not even doing it.
God knows what he's doing.
He's on the phone with somebody. That's hilarious.
I think we had that once before.
It was Mike North.
He's on the phone.
Mike North, remember?
Yeah, we had it with Mike North. We're here live in the zone. We're back.
He's probably in the middle of a business call right now at 9:45 p.m. It's not that important. There's no way.
Hey, he's wheeling and dealing right now with a big smirk on his face. So let's bring it in.
There he is.
What's up, fellas?
How are you, my man?
It was actually the guy getting back to me about some possible odds and lines, but nothing out there yet. Nothing out there.
That's all right.
Wasn't a good year for them last year.
Oh, it wasn't. Okay.
Well, a lot of sneaky money on Yup last year.
I bet. Yeah. So that's not fun. So hopefully we get some lines out there on those apps. I know that they got going left and right. They usually post them Thursday, I believe, though, don't they? Come out the day before?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a safe bet if you're up at Kennedy Park walking around. You can find someone to take your action.
Absolutely. Well, now that gambling is legal, right? So it's always a good thing.
Yeah, it's true.
Let me start by just really quick, Zoe. I know you've been on the show, or we've had you on and with the flashback team and so on, but you've never had the opportunity to tell people who you are. So why don't you give us a little rundown on yourself before we hop into the bracket challenge?
I don't know. John Zawoski, grew up on the south side, St. Linus, Brother Rice. Got into softball right after high school. We had a little team in the Brother Rice Alumni League that ended up starting with guys like me, Chris Sieben, Al Smith, Billy Smith, a couple other guys that play in the parks on the south side. Ended up just kind of all being pretty good softball players. And we actually won the league as 18-year-olds, like a month out of high school. So it was pretty cool. And then just played ever since. Got to jump on OBI. My cousin and his buddy, Kevin Conway, started the team when they were 21, and they're about 5 or 6 years older than me. So I'm probably 19 and they're 24, 25. Yep. Came out to a tournament, and that was the year they won like a couple park leagues, some charity tournaments. And they're like, oh, we're going to try this A softball thing next year. So, that was back in the ASA days when you had to play qualify. A teams had to play like 400 tournaments every week just to make these tournaments. So we're going out to prospect every other weekend, it felt like. And we played okay. We beat some teams randomly. And then the next year we ended up going to A Nationals in Cedar Rapids, I believe. And we actually we made it to the championship, and we lost to a very young traffic team. This is 2010 A Nationals, so 14 years ago.
Sure.
We lost to them in the semis after being out till about 6 a.m, 4-0. Then we won back. We won the first game like 14-1 or something crazy. We're all 19, 20. Me and Chris Steven are 19. Some 24-year-olds. We're going nuts, and they dropped like an 11 spot in the top of the first of the IF game. And they slaughtered us in the IF game. So it was a fun weekend for your first like real softball. Sure. Then after that, went to college. So I was like on and off teams. I played with Carl and Pete Carrick for a couple years. We actually made a play-in for the No Gloves. 1 year we lost in the last inning of the championship game of the play-in. So I ended up jumping out with Roadrunners in Lima. I don't think I played or got at bat, but it was just cool to experience, so young.
Right.
Then I did a stint with Dirty South for a year with Johnny Healy and a lot of Southside guys. Chris Steven was on that team as well. Probably the first big game we ever won. We beat Flash in like that state tournament in the first round. It was Friday night. I just remember there was like 3 games going on, and there was probably 7 people watching the other 2 games, and we had asked everyone watching our game, and we don't really know who Flash is. I mean, we know who they are, but like never played a team like that, and we ended up beating them, and that was like the first taste of like, oh, this is pretty cool,
Yeah.
And then I went to Smack Out with CJ and the boys. Probably the best A team ever in the history of softball.
Yeah.
Gio still motherfucks me to this day for letting us into that A Nationals. We were like a fringe team. We lose to every major team but beat every A team. And they let us into A, and we slaughtered everyone except for the Rats. Richie Arico came out with the bases loaded, 1 out, down 1, and try to cut. Cut right to Brendan Gossage. They don't score. The next guy doesn't get a hit, and we win 4-3. So shout out Richie Arico.
Yeah.
After that, I had the fun 1-year stint with the Gamblers. That was it was pathetic, but we were the only team. Bobby Ronald threw a perfect game and no gloves that year. I mean, we threw a perfect game on Thursday night in no gloves, and Saturday morning. So there's 8 teams left on Saturday or Sunday morning. We have 9 guys for our 9 o'clock game against. It might have been Hacks it might have been Hacks, but yeah, we throw a perfect game Thursday, and Sunday morning we have 9 guys, and I'm playing left field. So that's how that team was. And then, but I mean, those were some of the fun. I mean, that team was like that team was crazy. I mean, that Gamblers team was crazy, but the Smack Out team was wild. I mean, having a team dealing with. I mean, we have Kurt, Brendan Gossage, Danny Dispenza, Jeremy Lafrano, Stu Miller, me, Richie Battistoni, CJ, and Dave Tenza was our coach. So there were a lot of fights mid-game on the bench. There's a lot of yelling, a lot of fuck was being said. So I went back to bear 3 years in a row with teams like that, and then I went to Hex. Richie brought me and Stu over there. I don't know, kind of like the same Hex team now, you win some big games, you never win the biggest game, and it was a lot of fun. I loved all those guys. I met Al Rice, Mike Marola, the Traffic Boys, Eric and Josh. Still love Josh and Eric to this day. It was fun 4 years, and then COVID hit. I took the year off, and right before Nationals, Jibs was like, "You want to come out to Nationals? They're in Indiana." I'm like, "Yeah, I've played 7 games this year, but sure, come on out." And after the Nationals, he asked me to play, and I've been with them for the last 4 years. Last year, won my first no glove, so that was really cool. And my dad was out there with me. He's been watching me for 15 years, and I couldn't tell who was more happy, me or him, to win that no glove. So that was a real cool feeling, real cool. Can't explain it.
That's what shocks me is that you remember every single team that you played for. I mean, there's always one that you forget, but you remembered every single one. So I'm impressed by that.
I mean, the last 12 years, it's been 3 teams, so I just had to figure out the first couple.
Paul Rowan actually put up a comment right here that we need to support Uncle Bud's. The reason why I put that up there is because we are actually attending Uncle Bud's at 12:30 on Friday before the Papa Hops tournament. So if you guys want to come have some drinks with us, that's where I'll be, Zo.
Yeah, Bobby told me. Bobby already texted me. He said, "I think my guys are coming up there. I'm gonna have to stand by the kitchen and make sure you don't put anything in their food."
You're welcome.
You never know with
Thank
Uncle
you, Jimmy. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hey, Jimmy, play those slots.
Yes, I might know. I might dabble a little bit. You don't know.
Yeah, it's a 20, 40, 400, whatever.
A couple hundred. Don't worry about it. But I think that softball right now, this is probably one of the most exciting weeks. Because you throw in the Nicky Lopez tournament that's obviously this Thursday. You have Papa Hops Friday. You have Terry Moran Saturday. I mean, it's just a great week for charity. It's a great week for the game. It's a great week for every player. All of us are pumped. I know some of us are playing in all 3. Some of us are playing in 2 of the 3. Some of us are playing one of the three, but it doesn't really matter. I just think the whole week right now, I'm excited as I've ever been to play softball, which is crazy because as many years as I've played, it's just so funny how it all falls and works out on the same week. And then, you take a week off, and then a week later you start as we call it, the mecca of 16-inch softball, which is Forest Park. So we don't want to touch too much on the draw today from Forest Park. We're going to have a show about that, but the draw came out today, and I think it's pretty interesting matchups that we saw. I know, who did you guys get the winner of?
Dirty 38s and Iron, and I think I personally think Iron is a sneaky good team.
Yeah.
So
They're good.
we'll have to start
all the game actually.
Yeah, and I mean the 38s are hot. They could beat them too. Iron, I feel like they could beat anyone or lose to anyone. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely a tricky first game, and then into BTA versus Chucks, and then into Moneyline and Signature. You never know, but
yeah.
So it's a tough little road to start for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Donnie, what do you have for Zoe? Go ahead. I said, what do you have for Zoe?
I like John. John's one of my favorite guys in this game, and I actually just got I met Zoe a couple of years ago, but never was as friendly with him as I am now. I call Zoe regularly just to say hi. I think he appreciates it. I know he's a busy guy, so he doesn't like to talk to me for that long, which is a-okay. John talks a lot of trash to me because I'm soft and I get riled up pretty easily. But he did call me after midsummer and said that he was genuinely happy for me because he saw how happy I was after they had knocked me out of the first inning. However, we won, so you
did win.
Whatever. But John, I appreciate that.
Time out though. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. But I remember that, like seeing how happy you were. But I also remember the first championship game. You're on the mound in warm-ups, and you were like laser focused, dialed in. I was trying to talk shit. You weren't even looking at me. You had like your mad face on, and then you were walking to the bench, fucking 4 batters.
Listen, that was. I could feel you staring at me, and I just was like, "Don't look at Joe. Don't look at."
I mean, I bat pretty low in the order, and I didn't even come close to batting.
Didn't he take you out after an error?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
I think it was 5 batters, maybe 6,
It was a
5
hitter. It was a 6 hitter, and it was Vito. And but that's all she wrote for me. But that's okay. I was supportive for the guys. That's all I.
Team player.
All right, so Donnie, let's get to the bracket challenge, my man.
Yeah, let's do it. I've got them both right. I've got Jimmy's and I've got John's right here.
So Zoe, what are we putting on this? I mean, are we going to do first round games 1 point, second round 2 points, third round 4 points, and double it, or what are we doing here?
Yeah, we'll go 1, 2, 4, 8, 10.
Here's what I'll do.
No, 1, 2, 4, 8.
Yeah, whatever. 4, 8, 10. That's fine. Whatever. You can do 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 too. So that's fine. Every round it doubles.
Well, you get 1, 2, 4.
We should have probably discussed.
Oh yeah, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. Yeah.
All right, perfect.
So here's what I'll do. I'll say the game. I'll say the game, and you both give me who you think wins for the first round. We'll kind of make it.
Wait, what are we putting on this, Jimmy?
I was thinking maybe I don't know. We could do steak dinners. We could do a lot of things.
$500,000.
When is Papa Magoo's? When is Papa Magoo's open?
Invite Zoe's neck to the podcast.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it. When does Papa Magoo's open up?
The Papa Magoo's will open officially July 22nd. So we will have the grand opening August 3rd, the week after Forest Park.
Maybe we get winner, 10 guys either at Papa Magoo's if you win, or Buds if I win, and you got to pick up the tab.
That works.
All right, sounds good.
That works.
10 guys at the other person's bar, and you got to pay for it.
That's fine. That works.
I like that.
All right. I'm in.
All right.
Donnie, let's get it going.
First game, I'll start top left. We'll start with Yup and Butter.
Yup.
Okay. And then we've got Boogerfoot and Lawler's Bars.
We'll alternate. You go first on this one. I'll go.
I was
second.
gonna say, yeah. Okay, that's fine.
John.
Lawlers.
Yeah, Lawler's
Okay,
bar.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Next is Squirts and Iron Horse.
Ooh, Iron Horse. Since I'm first, Iron Horse is the Petey Rains old man team, and then you got Squirts. I believe the Squirts is I can't think of who runs that team.
Give us the answer. Give us the answer. Shoot it out.
I know Brian
God,
Brian Fitzgibbons is involved.
The
They
problem
have a
is
couple
the
good
Squirts
Park
got
League
an
guys, and I
old.
think they might have. I think I'm going in and out.
I'm gonna go with my
No,
old
you're good.
vets.
You're in.
I'm gonna
We can
take
hear you.
Iron Horse in that one. I'm gonna go
Okay.
with my old vet.
I
Joe, who you
do
got?
think this is a very good game. I do think this is a very good game. I'm gonna go with Iron Horse, but I think Squirts has a couple circus guys too, so I think it should be a good one.
OBI and Head First.
Go ahead, Zoe.
These are our Papa Hop jerseys, Oregon State colors. with the
I
beaver.
gotta take OBI as well. I have
Is
to.
there copyright infringement on those?
Yeah,
Next one is
cut it out.
Wallies and Gamblers.
Ooh, so we are the Gamblers, and we
Yes.
played Wally. So let me give you a little background. We play Wallies every single year in this tournament. This is the third year in a row we are now playing Wallies. They have beaten us the last 2 years. So
Hard to beat a team 3 times, right?
yes, that's what I'm saying. So I have to be biased here, and I have to go with the Gamblers.
So the Gamblers have about 3 or 4 starters that were on my team last year that Bobby Ronald stole this year. So I'm a little biased against the Gamblers, and
Wally's is tough.
Wally's is tough. Paul Rowan's kid, Zeke Rowan, runs that team.
Okay.
I know they have Bo Filkins, and I believe they have another major player. But Casey McMurray's also on their team. He was a left fielder for Brick forever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Wally's.
All right.
Our first difference in selection. Dead Rabbits and Jug-Offs.
Zoe, it's your pick.
Jug-Offs.
Yeah, I got Jug-Offs on that one too.
Okay. Ignition and this is Julian Russell's Ignition and the Betsy Boys.
MVP Julian Russell.
I mean, I Betsy Boys will be okay, but I gotta go Ignition there. They just got too much firepower.
Yeah, Ignition. Sorry, Julian. I just put it out. It's Bobby Ronald. It's nothing to do with you, Julian.
John, you didn't let him play, so he's not offended. We've got West Lawn, and Rip City.
Really quick, Julian responds with an FU, Zoe. So
Yeah, no.
all right, so
He's
go ahead.
also a
My
gambler.
pick or Zoe's pick?
Your pick.
My pick. What was the game?
West Lawn and Rip City.
Ooh. West Lawn is Johnny Hemer and Marky Robinson and those guys and the guys from Lawler's over there. And Rip City, I don't know who Rip City is, so I got to go West Lawn.
Rip City has some good players. Park League team from the South Sides. But yeah, I'm gonna go with West Lawn as well. I think they got a couple good major pickups. I forgot. I think is Filomeno on their team too, the first baseman from Meatball.
And I think they usually have
Joey's
Kirk.
going out there to play?
I think so. I'm not sure, but I know Marky Robinson's picking up 2 major players.
Yeah.
For sure. Joey's a hell of a player. Next, we're going to go to the top right part of the bracket. It's Bagel Boys and Scrapes.
Bagel Boys, that's an easy one.
Okay.
I got some underground people telling me that Scrapes might have a little better roster than you think, but Bagel Boys probably the best 1-2 roster in the tournament. So Bagel Boys.
All right, we've got Moo and Jammed.
Who's pick is
what's
That's Higgins.
what team did you play for last year?
That's who I played for last year. Yeah,
Jam. I think Moo has got.
Or was that MK? Oh no, that's Moo. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Jam.
You played on Jam last year, and you guys upset Pac-Man.
They beat Pac-Man. So like for that alone, I guess I'll go Jam.
And who you got? Who is Jam playing?
Moo.
Moo. I don't know Moo. I don't know Moo. I got to go Jam.
Okay. We've got Laced and the Birds.
Ooh.
This will be a good game.
Yes, it will be.
Couple good Southside teams. I know a couple guys on the Birds very well. Good guys over there. Brendan Garrett runs a tight ship over there. I'm gonna go with the Birds.
I also am going to go with the Birds because my boy Matty Cohen, one of my nephews, plays on the Birds. I don't believe maybe they have CJ pitching for him this year. I'm not really sure. But
They do have CJ, but they elected not to pick up another major player. They're running with their guys and CJ.
Yeah,
they made a run to the championship like maybe 5 or 6, 7 years ago. It was all their Park League team, so I think they're just kind of going back to that.
Yep, good for them. Go ahead, Donnie. Next game.
Buzz and Gators.
Gators is a team that I think we were a part of a couple of years ago. They're a bunch of kids out of Mount Greenwood, I believe, if I'm correct. And then you said Buzz?
Buzz.
I don't know Buzz. Zoe, help me out with Buzz. You know anyone from Buzz?
I don't know Buzz either. I know a couple guys in the Gators.
Yeah, I'm going to go Gators just because I'm more familiar with them.
I'll go Gators as well.
Okay. Not a ton of different picks in the first round. Pretty straightforward. We've got Mint and
We're going to lose a bunch.
Yeah.
So this is a very intriguing first round matchup. The Mint guys always play great at Papa Hops. They have an awesome lineup. But this FDS team has got a lot of these crush kids that are winning every tournament on the South Side lately. I know Tom O'Malley's over there, and
my God,
Tom
Mark
Gutierrez is and I think they have Mark Manizzi and someone else too, right?
Yeah.
Fuck, I forgot who else they picked up, but those kids have been winning every charity tournament, so this is a real tough draw for Mint. But I think Stretch, with his 7-8 foot wingspan on the mound could be a problem and could be the difference at the plate. So I'm gonna say Mint in a close one.
Well, I believe Scolada's playing with Mint. I believe
Scarlata is with Mint. Yeah, him and Smokey are their majors.
Oh, they have Mans as well. FDS.
FDS has Manzella as well.
Yeah, well, they have Manzella and I believe Mark Manizzi on FDS.
Yes, yeah.
So,
damn it, Jimmy.
I'm trying to think.
What do you got?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with my boys Mint.
Okay. I'm gonna take FDS in that game.
It's gonna be a tough game.
Cheddar and the Dogs is next.
Cheddar.
Cheddar. My teammate Joey Aguiardo and Mr. Alonji will be playing with Cheddar this year.
Okay, then the next game is Barstool and the 109ers.
I'll take the 109ers.
As will I.
Okay. Pac-Man and
I believe my
Road.
teammates Anthony, Stacy, and Brian Kearns are playing with Barstool.
I'll take the 109ers.
Yeah, me too.
Pac-Man and the Road in the next one.
Well, Pac-Man, I mean, they got to come back strong this year after that first round loss. I mean, they didn't know that they were going to lose. They had a major pitcher on the mound, but
correct.
They avoided the major pitcher this year, so they should win.
Well, they still have Higgins. I played third base that game.
Wow.
You're shocking. Yeah, I know. Shocking. Jimmy, who do you got?
Did you get pulled pitching?
Sorry, I got distracted. Bobby Lopez was just texting me to see if he was going to jump on after us, but he's responded. But what was the game? I apologize.
Pac-Man and the Road.
I'm taking Pac-Man.
Okay, wonderful. Boy, this is quite similar. All right, Jimmy, Yup and Lawlers. Actually, both of you both have this.
Oh, Jimmy first.
Go ahead.
I went Yup.
You went Yup?
Yep.
Ooh.
Give me Lawlers.
Okay, I like it. All right, then
I just have to win the next game, so.
Iron Horse and OBI.
OBI.
I'll take
gonna
OBI.
be a tough game.
Well.
Both OBI. Okay, Jimmy, you've got Gamblers and Jug-Offs.
I will go Gamblers. Sorry, Jug-Offs.
And then you've got Zoe with Wally's and the Jug-Offs.
Give me Wally's.
Okay, you both have Ignition and West Lawn.
Ignition.
Ignition.
Okay, it's kind of
It
fun.
goes really quick now.
Yeah.
Bagel Boys and Jam.
Bagel Boys.
Bagel Boys.
Okay. The Birds and the Gators for Jimmy. Both of you have the same thing.
Birds.
Birds.
Okay. Write that. Mint and Cheddar.
Go ahead, Zoe.
I'll go Mint.
I'm going Cheddar.
Alonji
Yeah.
and Iggy are tough duo.
Okay, and then you've
They
got
got great guys too. Like that's a pretty good team. They made a run to the Elite Eight or Final Four a year or two ago.
Yep.
okay 109ers and Pac-Man.
I'll take Pac-Man.
Pac-Man.
So we'll come back here for Pac-Man. Did they make the championship against Ignition like 2 or 3 years ago?
2 years ago, I believe. And it was an awesome game. Back
It was
and
awesome,
forth.
yeah.
A lot of
It was
runs.
a super high-scoring game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All right, top half of the bracket. Jimmy, Yup or OBI?
Sorry, Zoe. Yep.
OBI.
So, you got OBI over
OBI
Lawler?
over Lawlers.
Okay. Now we've got Jimmy, Gamblers and Ignition.
Gamblers and Ignition. That's tough. How do you bet against yourself, right? That's why I don't like doing this. But, I mean, I don't know who Ignition's going to have. Zoe bet his team. I got to take my team. I'll take the Gamblers.
Love it. We just got to take each other till we play each other.
Okay. Zoe, Wally's and Ignition.
Ignition.
Okay. Zoe, Bagel Boys and Birds. Actually, you both have that.
Bagel Boys. Bagel Boys.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
take Bagel Boys there.
So lots of right. Good. All right. Jimmy, Cheddar and Pac-Man.
Cheddar.
Long run for Cheddar. I love it.
Give me Pac-Man. The young boys are bouncing back this year.
All right. Final four. Jimmy, Yup, Gamblers, Bagel Boys, Cheddar. Yup or the Gamblers in the final four?
I mean, our road comes to an end. I think Yup will beat us again.
Oh! You see that, Bobby?
All right.
You see that, Bobby Ronald? Should have took Timmy.
Was that a choice? We've got
Oh, yeah.
OBI, Ignition, Bagel Boys, and Pac-Man is the final four. OBI or Ignition?
Well, I'm only doing that because he didn't pick us, so I have to make up points. But then again, if we win,
Hey, I'm going down with the sword. OBI, Bagel Boys. It's gonna be a lot of flash guys in that championship.
So you're picking yourself over Ignition here.
Yes.
well, then I have to pick ourselves over.
Yep.
Change it now.
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
change it.
Okay. And then Jimmy, Bagel Boys or Cheddar?
I think Bagel Boys.
Pops, if
nobody-
Head First upsets OBI, Pops, my bracket's ruined.
Yeah.
yeah. Bagel Boys or Pac-Man in the other side, Zoe?
Bagel Boys.
Okay. All right, it's time for the very climactic championship with both of your teams in the championship game.
Well, that's why I'm saying we should have just left our teams out, but that's okay.
Yeah. I don't know. OBI 15-9 over the Bagel Boys. We get to Jibs early.
I'm just since he didn't pick the Bagel Boys, I gotta pick the Bagel Boys because then if they win, I win the tournament.
That is true.
So
All right, Jimmy, what's the final score of the game?
we'll do 12-6, Bagel Boys.
All right, 10. The boys are in.
So,
Fantastic.
so really quick, Zoe, before we let you go, I appreciate you jumping on. Or you can stay on if you want. I'm going to bring Bobby Lopez on. Bobby Lopez from the Thursday tournament has joined us on the feed. So I'm gonna, Zoe, if you want to stay on with
Yeah, I'll
us,
just scoot over. Yeah, that's fine.
scoot over and let's bring on Bobby here. Bobby, how are you doing, buddy?
What's up, guys? What are you guys doing?
Hey, how we doing?
We
Why
were
didn't you guys
talking
just
about
why
Papa
didn't you
Hops.
why didn't you guys just put your both teams in there as the championship teams? Why go through all that bullshit?
Yeah, I know. That's what I was trying to tell Zoe, but
I think we're gonna win.
Well, I don't doubt it, but you would have saved yourself a lot of heartaches.
It's free money because I know Jimmy's team can't win.
yeah. So thanks, Zoe. I appreciate the confidence out of you, my man. Thank you so much.
I think it's going to be lettuce and 45s in the championship.
So Bobby, I appreciate you just jumping on here to talk about Thursday's tournament, right?
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, thanks.
Charity event. Just give us a quick rundown on how it all came together, what you've done so far, and just kind of everything that's going on with the White Sox and your son.
Well, I mean, everybody knows who, Nicky Lopez is, and we're doing with the Sox. He's been trying to do this, Jimmy, for some years now. He was with Kansas City, and they tried to do it in Kansas City, but, you guys were talking about 12-inch. I don't think they know what 16-inch softball is out in Kansas City. So it was kind of tough for him to get going with it out there. So fast forward to him getting traded to the Sox, it's a perfect scenario, Softball started in Chicago, and we threw it at the Sox to see if they were interested in doing it, and they jumped all over it. And we were lucky enough for them to bite, and it's for two great things with the Wisher Foundation and the JWEG Foundation for cancer. So I'm happy that the Sox took over on it, and we're going to have 16 teams. We're going to be in Mount Greenwood prior to that Papa Hops tournament, and we're going to have a lot of fun out there. There's going to be a lot of people there. Everybody's stacking up. Jimmy, you got a team in there. You're supposedly bringing ringers. Everybody's bringing ringers. I didn't know this was going to be that important for everybody.
I mean, our team is basically most of the team that goes to Yuma. We added a couple other guys, but we're bringing guys that some of the guys actually played Major League Baseball before.
Oh, awesome!
So I think we've kind of tied the knot there, and then both myself and Donnie will be out there as well. We're going to be live streaming, and Donnie and I think is more excited to meet a lot of the media and the marketing people.
Yeah, but Donnie doesn't look at it. I heard Donnie don't look at anybody when he's pitching and stuff when he's starting to work out. He wasn't looking at any of the guys.
Well, that's just that mug.
This guy here.
That guy top right, he doesn't want to look at him. I don't know. He got the Maloik on him or something. I don't know what's going on.
Sorry, I was getting some text messages.
Are you calling you're texting your girlfriend or what's going on?
Oh.
No, so that's pretty much it, Jimmy. I'm excited. I'm happy for my daughter-in-law Sydney and my son Nicky that they did this, and it's actually going to be a good situation. We have 16 teams, and we're going to have a nice little get-together. And I believe there's some major leaguers coming out. I heard Tomei's coming out, and I think maybe Harold Baines and a few other guys. But I'm not totally sure exactly who's coming out there.
Well, it's an incredible thing. I think this is the first time ever it's been done where a Major League Baseball organization has put something like this together.
Yeah.
I know my guys are all excited to see what it's all about. I'm sure are you guys going to have any concessions out there? What's the environment going to be like at the park?
Yeah, I think Bona Beef's going to be out there. I think there's going to be, I'm not sure about, I think there's a pizza truck out there going to be out there. Sox is running with it, and they're doing everything. It's with the Sox charity also. So they took the bull by the horn, and they ran with it. So yeah, there's going to be food out there. I think there's going to be some tents out there. I don't know exactly the ins and outs of everything that's going to happen out there, but I think it's going to be a fun event. Paul's been kind of talking to people at the Park District 2 to make sure everything's squared away over there with that. So yeah, I'm excited about it. Playing 16-inch for 20 years with I miss playing, but I'm too old now, so it's just
Yeah.
you know.
We just had a question, Bobby, come in, and I do apologize. I should have had you introduce who you are and
Yeah.
give a little background. So if you want to go ahead and do that, please do it right now.
Yeah, just Bobby Lopez played for 20 some odd years. Played with a whole slew of teams. 45. I didn't never play with the 45s. The Lettuce, Licorice, Meadows, Taggers, Whips. There's so many teams I played for. Was inducted in 2010 to the Hall of Fame, and
Yeah.
just loving softball my whole life. So
So
when I hear you guys talk about it, I get excited again because I feel the fun you guys are having, and I miss it.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean, the one thing I love about softball is the amount of people you meet, and it's just interesting. And the cast of characters that I always say that you meet in this game is tremendous.
Yeah, it's a
We just
tight knit
had a
group.
question. We just had a question come in from about the field. Are they
Uh-huh.
going to be serving beer out there? Or we have to bring coolers, or what's
No,
the?
I believe there is beverages and stuff out there. You know what? I could let you know. I believe there is going to be, but I would have to let you know on that. I'm not totally sure.
Well,
Yeah, I would have to say that no one's ever not been allowed to bring a cooler to Montgomery Park.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be. It'd be smart enough to probably bring a cooler out there in case you can't get to the beer because I hear we're going to have a nice showing, but
Yep. Yeah, no, well, I'm sure guys will bring coolers.
Yeah,
just
I know
asking
I'm
different
gonna
event.
bring one.
Yeah. So, if they are serving beer out there, tremendous. I'm actually, I have a call with the White Sox marketing team tomorrow. So I'm going to
Okay.
ask her, Jamie, she reached out to me today. So,
Oh, okay.
so I'll ask her some of those questions and I'll post it on our page. And if you hear anything as well,
Yeah,
please
I'll
send
text
it our
you.
way. I can get the message out as
Yeah,
well.
I can let you know. I'm not like I said. I'm not deep into everything that's going on. I'm in a little bit of it, but I'm not totally involved in it totally. So yeah, it's hard for me to tell you if there's going to be beer or anything out there.
Nice.
I just want to say thanks. As a 20-year White Sox season ticket holder, still have my tickets.
Awesome.
This is pretty cool that you did this with your son, especially being Chicago people. And it's probably the coolest thing I've ever gotten an email about as a season ticket holder in the last 10 years was, hey, we're running a softball tournament. So that was pretty cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, we wanted to give back. I mean, being that he's home playing for a home team, we couldn't have done it any better. This is exciting.
Yeah.
So I don't want to ask you too many questions about baseball, but I got to ask you one. How many heart attacks have you had this year?
I have a machine next to my bed. Every time I get a little, they shock me every time my heart goes out of rhythm.
Yeah, I hear that.
It's definitely been tough. But you know what? Hey, the guys go out every day and they try to bust their butts to try to win games, and you know how baseball is. It doesn't always go your way. So hopefully they'll get better as time goes on. But they're doing their thing.
Niki's been heating up a little bit as of late.
Yeah,
big 2-out hit the other day. I had some money on the White Sox.
Yeah, good. Did you win a little? You won a little bit of cash?
No, he tied it up, and then they blew it in the 10th. I think.
Shit. Okay, well, you got to bet on him every once in a while to get a hit. Maybe you'll win then. I don't know.
FanDuel, yeah, definitely.
So Donnie, do you have any questions for Bobby Lopez? I know you were excited to speak to him last week.
Yeah, for
What's up,
sure,
Donnie?
Bobby. Thank you for coming on the show. I know that we tried to get you on, maybe a couple weeks ago and kind of fell through on that. So we apologize and we appreciate you for jumping on.
Yeah, no worries.
Everyone's excited about Thursday, and you mentioned some of the baseball guys that are going to be out there. I know Jim Tomei is involved with that Nazareth Academy baseball team. Now I'd like to see him hit a softball about 500 feet if that's possible on Thursday.
These guys are athletes, man. They're big guys too. I don't know if you ever stood next to Tomei. He's a big dude. So I can imagine if he gets a hold of one, it's going to go somewhere. I know I was years ago when I was playing. Carlton Fisk had a team with a couple major leaguers, and man, he can hit a softball big time. So you know what? It's like riding a bike. They're going to swing and hit it. So where it goes, who knows? But they're big guys.
I mean,
Right.
that's kind of like the age-long, softball. You're after a tournament, you had a bunch of beers. It's like if I could pick the 11 best 16 softball players right now, could they beat a team of 11 MLB players?
No chance.
Oh, that's a tough one.
I think with no practice, like they just got to come off the bus and play. I think softball will win, but if you gave them like a month, I think we'd be in trouble.
I
don't know.
I gotta probably agree with you there. I mean, once they get kind of used to hitting that thing, it's gonna go. I don't know if they could bend down now to pick up a ball, but they'd be able to hit it.
Yeah, they'd figure out how to dump and flip after a month too.
Right.
Yeah.
Bob, Bobby, thank you. I just wanted to say thanks quick for coming on the show. I know it was kind of late that we had to jump on, but we appreciate you jumping on, and I know Jimmy is super pumped to see you. So we'll see you out there on Thursday, my man. It's awesome.
Yeah, you guys come out. I'm looking forward to meeting all you guys. We've been kind of texting back and forth, but I'd like to shake your hand and put faces to faces, But
for sure.
That's going to be awesome,
I'm getting a haircut. I think I'll be out. I'm getting a haircut for that day too, Bobby. So
hell, you'll be able to run faster. You'll be able to run faster.
Let's not get crazy now.
Yeah, we don't run that fast. I don't know what position you play.
I'm pitching nowadays.
Yeah, you're not a fast runner. You're not fast.
Yeah, by the end of the game, he's just the DH, but he starts the pitcher.
Yeah, I used to play third and short and that stuff, and by the end of my career, I was catching. So everybody falls into that, into that stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't bat 9th or 10th in the lineup like some of these guys on this show.
Oh shit, he had to go there, didn't he? He went there.
Thank you.
That was
but hey, but Bobby, if you have any questions for Donnie and I, now's the time to ask. If not, we appreciate.
No, I want to see. I'm excited to see you guys out there, and thanks for what you guys do. I've been trying to get on with you guys, but it's been falling through because I've been pretty busy with all this stuff going on. But yeah, I just want to meet up with you guys at the field. I don't know if I'll be at that Papa Hots, but I'll definitely be in Forest Park for the No Glove. I'm definitely going to come out to that.
Perfect.
So,
well, continue and spread the word, my man. I mean, the more major leaguers that jump into our game in Chicago, the better in the future, right? So
yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to, I'm trying to get softball back on the map, and if I could do anything with, with Nikki and with me to make it more exposed and stuff like that, I'm going to try to do that. We'll talk more about different things that we might be able to do, but this is a step in the right direction with him doing this tournament.
Absolutely. So we appreciate that. We appreciate you jumping on.
Yeah, no worries. I had a few minutes of time to kill, so yeah, I'm excited to meet you guys.
Hey man, thank you so much, Bobby. If you don't have anything else for us, man, we appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, I'll see you guys Thursday. Thanks. All right.
That was a cool little surprise. Bobby Lopez jumping on to talk about Thursday. I know this is the Papa Hops event show, but you know what? I couldn't pass up that opportunity, Donnie. So it was really cool to see him.
Heck yeah, great call, Jim. That's why you call the shots around here, my man. That's why you're in charge.
So getting back to our brackets, because I know Bobby jumped on. I didn't want him to wait too much longer. I know he had somewhere to go. Zoe had OBI and Bagel Boys. And I had Bagel Boys and myself, right?
Yes.
So he picked his team. I picked Bagel Boys, so that way if it is him and them, and Bagel Boys beat them, I have a chance, right? I mean, that's the fair thing to do.
That's pretty smart.
We're playing for money here, right? So, and if I win the tournament, I'm happy either way, so it doesn't really matter, right? So I think I'm in the spot here.
Yeah, well, I think you got me.
But if he wins the tournament, I'm screwed.
Don't admit defeat, though. Not with Jimmy. Anybody else? Jimmy's in your head.
Just gotta win.
So where do you guys start? Are you guys at Kennedy?
No, we play 2 games at Mount Greenwood to start, but it's kind of weird. Like our game against Head First is on like a small field, and the winner goes to play the winner, and they're playing on a baseball field. So it's like kind of a big switch game to game,
Yeah.
I hate playing on baseball fields.
We're at Beverly. I think every year we're at Beverly, so I don't think.
Are you at the baseball field? They have one baseball field too.
I don't know.
It's just tough for the outfielders because the infield's so big.
Well, 2 years ago we won our first 2 games and then went over to Kennedy and lost to Wally's. Last year we played Wally's in the first game, lost 5-4. So or 6-5 or whatever it was.
Tough draws, man.
Yeah, so I mean, it is what it is. But hopefully, and then we draw Wally's again this year, and if we win, we play Jugoffs. I mean, we do not have an easy draw at all. So,
No.
and if it runs chalk, we play Ignition in the third game, which is not going to be an easy game either. So, but hey,
Yeah.
that's why you play them.
Yeah, you never know. Anyone can beat anyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those Kennedy Park hops.
You know it. So, Zoe, is there anything else you want to bring up about Papa Hops? I know that Liam had mentioned you kind of, not necessarily, but looking at some of the rosters as he did, he gave us a little joke at the end. Is there anything you want to mention that that you're part of it, or anything on your mind that you want to talk about?
No, yeah, he hit it right on the head. I mean, he comes to me with questions about players, where they play, who they play with, and I mean, they changed the rule. They tweaked the rule just a little bit a couple of years ago, just because there were some guys. I mean, honestly, debating like sitting out, major the season, playing Papa Hops, and then jumping on a Forest Park team, and he just wanted to make it fair for everyone. So like, it's just if you play no gloves, and if you play in one of the major leagues, you're considered a major player. In our world, that's a lot of A teams and A players, but for the Papa Hops, the majority of the A teams and all of the major teams are considered major players.
Okay.
Just to, like you said, bring those players in, add a couple good players to each team, make the games a little more competitive. But overall, it's about charity, and it's about all like the park teams and the park league players that get to go out and play in front of crowds like this, which makes it really cool.
Yeah, so no, you're 100% right. And I think it's just different, right? I think we see the same stuff every weekend. It's completely different. So appreciate for that. There was a comment that came in from Luke. Is there going to be any live streams out on Thursday? Donnie had to hop off really quick, just so you know. So Zoe, you and I are going to finish out the show.
Let's do it.
For Luke's comment, I don't believe so, Luke. I don't know what's going on live stream wise. I know Donnie and I will be out there trying to live stream and bring extra battery packs and things like that. Hopefully, Donnie and I are playing, so it'll be a little tough to live stream. But either way, we'll try to figure something out.
What time do you guys start on Thursday?
We start at 5:00.
Okay.
So it's it's going to be a long Thursday into a long Friday, and then they have the after party at O'Reilly's.
Riley's.
Or Riley's, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Riley's daughter, right? That's what it's
right.
called.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like I said, being a season ticket holder, I got that email real early and was definitely interested. Started talking to some guys about putting in a team, and then I was like, I can't play 4 games and then be ready to play 5 games on Friday. So
yeah,
I had to take a back seat. I'll probably stop up there and say hi to you guys, but
yeah, we'll be up there.
I can't play 9 games in 2 days anymore.
It's two game guarantee. So the most you can play is 4 if you win it. So it's not terrible.
It's to be 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, you're gonna have to get them in.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll see how the night goes. I'm more excited just about that event, and then obviously roll it right into the Papa Hops tournament, which is even, for me, Papa Hops starts at 1:00 on Friday at your bar. So.
I'm going to be there, and some of my teammates will be there as well, so it should be a good crowd. You got to drink away the nerves before you start, right?
Right. So, Zoe, before we end the show, I have to ask you the question, right? The question that everyone always asks me about and always talks about. And that question is basically, if you had to change one thing about softball or bring something to the game to make it better, what would it be?
I'm just pretty thankful right now that you didn't have a top 10 ready for me, because I really appreciate that.
When we have you on as the number one guest, like you come on as the guest and only
no, that's cool with me.
You're going to have a rapid fire.
I think it could just get me in trouble, I'm glad avoiding the top 10. I don't know, man. I mean, maybe there isn't. Maybe there isn't. Times have changed. I mean, times have changed since I started playing 14 years ago. Like, we went to Mount Prospect every other weekend. We played at Clyde Park 2 days a week. Got into Forest Park. We just played, and it's just. Now I'm seeing a little bit. Been married. I have 2 kids now, so it's harder. But people just have things to do, and people don't prioritize it anymore. it's cool for these Papa Hops, but like these 4-day, I mean, I think the 4-day tournaments are semi ridiculous, but like I get what the people who are running softball, they have to. I mean, I get what they're doing. It's just no one has the time for it anymore, or no one prioritizes anymore. So, I mean, I wish.
Yeah.
I mean, I love playing every day back in the day, and still love playing the game. Like I find my way to make most of my games, even with my family. But it's just people don't prioritize it. So, like, I don't know. I guess I agree. Making tournaments shorter might help. I don't know if you're going to see a significant increase, but I mean, any little bit helps, I guess.
Well, obviously, you and many of our guests, and you could speak to it. I don't prep you guys to say that. It's really what you guys hear and what you guys believe, and I love that because I think it is something that softball wants to do and needs to do from a player perspective for commitment, right? I also think about, and it's something that came in my head today when I was talking with Pat Caputo, and it was about the leagues. And, I think if you shorten the tournaments, maybe the leagues now become a little better too, because now you're not playing 4 days over the weekend. And now when you go to that league game or you play one league, two leagues, whatever it is, now those league games maybe are a little more important because you played in a tournament over the weekend. Maybe it was a 2-game guaranteed tournament, as Big Mick always says. Why can't you make every tournament, 2 games guarantee where if you lose the first one, you could win a consolation and still win money for the weekend, which I think most teams would do. And then also if you win it, and you get eliminated after 2 games, you're only playing 2 games on a weekend, which I don't think is bad. And you could do all that in one day. But I think if you do something along those lines, maybe those leagues will become better too with commitment. And maybe it does tailor over to that. I don't know. I mean, we won't know until we try it. In my opinion, I think that's something that we definitely have to talk about and make a discussion. I mean, we always hear it's for the players, by the players, but like we need the players to have a word or have some type of say when it comes to that, and
Yeah,
we do.
I
Right?
agree. And I also think Sundays are like the biggest day that kind of, I mean, I guess if you're there on Sunday, you're going to show up, but like people love Sundays off, the family, if you want to go and drink all day, whatever. Like you could start these tournaments and have like the first round happen on Thursday and Friday, and then you could play the rest of it Saturday. Like I hear the guys, they want to say like, oh, that's too much on a guy, too much on a guy. Like, I mean, I've got some, bumps and bruises, and I get sore all the time. Like, if you're playing, if I've already played 4 or 5 games on a Saturday, like the 6th game, you got adrenaline. You're probably already if you're playing 6 games, you're pretty deep in the tournament. Like,
Yeah.
you don't really feel anything in the moment. It's that next day. So, like, even these 4-day tournaments, if you're going to lose, right, you got to play 3 or 4 Saturday. Coming back knowing you got to play 4 or 5 Sunday, it's like you wake up Sunday morning, it's like,
There's
I feel
no
like
difference.
shit.
Yeah.
Like, if you just got to play 9 a.m. and you end up in the championship at 8, 9 p.m., like, I don't know, you already kind of designated Saturday for softball anyways. You're going to be there. Like, you're not going to field in the moment. You could play 5, 6, 7 games in one day. I mean, yeah, it's going to suck the next day, but the tournament's over Saturday night. And I think Saturday night's a huge, huge draw for fans and tournaments, and even family. Like, can you imagine you're playing a tournament and like by 5 o'clock, you're like, hey, I'm in the championship at 8 o'clock. Then you get friends, family, cousins, uncles, aunts, like, oh, I'll come up for, that game. Like,
Yeah.
am I going to come up at 1:30 on a Sunday to watch you play a championship? And then, by the way, you win that game, you have to wait 3 hours for a team to come back and double dip you.
Yeah. No, I completely understand.
And Sundays are just kind of tilting, honestly,
Yeah.
winning or losing. You almost rather lose. Our Flash team is insane out of the losers bracket because you just let us play 4, 5, 6 games in a row. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'd rather do that. I mean, you'd rather win.
You bring up a good point. Like you mentioned the Thursday, Friday. I had brought up. I was fortunate enough to go to one of the SSA meetings. They kind of laughed at my idea, but they gave me a scenario with 2 fields in 2014 field, how to finish the tournament on Saturday night. And I told them that if you do Thursday night, so those top 8 playing games, as you would say, like how Forest Park runs the format, you
Yeah.
make those top 8, let's say the entry fee's $400, just as an example. those top 8 games, the losing teams of those games are out of the tournament. They get their $200 back. They get half their money back. Those 8 teams that win go into a double elimination 16-team tournament. So that way, when we do have teams like Iowa, I mean, let's face it, we only have 2 teams that come in for tournament,
Right.
Hall of Fame and Chucks. Hall of Fame comes in for 1 tournament, Chucks comes in for 2. So unfortunately, we would give them the benefit of the doubt and give them a bye to Friday night where they're guaranteed at least 2 games as they are now. And then you're able to have a 16-team tournament with all 16 teams.
Friday night, you can run.
I'm losing you.
Yeah, you run late on Friday, but you go 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 1-on-1 counts. You get all 16 teams play on Friday. And then Saturday, you kind of know what your days are going to be like. If you won, you're in the top 8, you're going to start a little later. If you lost, you're going to start a little earlier.
Right.
And you just run it through.
You bring them all back on Saturday, and everyone's at the park. Yep.
Yeah, everyone's there.
So,
I mean,
well, hey man,
you're there. You lose at 10 in the morning, you might leave. But I mean, you lose at 12, 1, 2, 3. You're like, oh, I'll stick around for some softball. And like you said, even if you're winning, you're still going to play 4 or 5 games. Like no one minds doing that in one day, as long as you're not doing multiple days. But like one day of playing all those games, everyone does it. All those charity tournaments like that.
Right.
Papa Hops is 5 games on a Friday night.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
yeah, no, I definitely like the Saturday idea, but you got to utilize Thursday if you want to do that.
Yep. So, but hey, man, I appreciate you coming on, giving your picks. I appreciate the time. I appreciate your opinion on it. We have to get our softball players to stick together, promote our game, continue to grow our game. Utilize the resources we have, and I think good things are going to come out at the end. So, having Bobby and on our side with the White Sox and just the amount of publicity and advertisement that's going to bring, Papa Hops this weekend and what they're doing, Terry Moran on Saturday, what he's doing up on the north side. I mean, these are 3 great tournaments, 3 great stories for this weekend. So hopefully I win all 3. It would be awesome. It'd be
hopefully you win 2 of them.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I definitely.
Yeah, and anyone out there, you're playing the Papa Hops, or you want to just come by for some good food, Uncle Bud's, 9700 South Cicero in Oaklawn, Illinois. You can meet me and Uncle Jimmy at 1:30 on Friday.
Do you have any questions for me? I know Donnie's phone died, had to hop off, but do you have any questions for me before we let you go?
No, I just look forward to seeing you on Friday.
I'm gonna have my haircut too for you, so
I'm getting actually a clean shaven Friday morning. Got to look good for Papa Hops, so
even better. So
I'll be ready to go. Thanks, Jimmy. I appreciate it.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. Have a good night. I'll see you this weekend.
All right, see you, bud.